Hello guys, gals and they thems. So, Pokémon Legends ZA came out and it truly was a game that was made. I don't even know where to start with this video. I was honestly hoping my lack of enthusiasm for this release was misplaced, but I guess I was right to not get too excited. I was gonna do spooky game, but this game is scarier than anything I had in mind, mostly because of the price. I will preface this by saying I love Pokemon. I've been a Pokemon fan since I got my copy of Blue on the Game Boy when I was a little sprog. I collect the cards.
It's Pikachu!
I sometimes play the TCG online and in real life. I love the cute creatures and trying to catch them all. I even love shiny hunting and the many spin-offs that Pokemon has spawned over the years. I was really hoping for some actual effort to be put into this new game, especially when it is the most expensive Pokemon game to date. But boy, did they drop the Pokeball on this one. The entire map is one model, which explains why all the windows and details, or lack thereof, are the same 3 JPEGs just slapped on the sides of buildings willy-nilly. This is the model in question. The buildings were individual when the game was teased and had modelled balconies and windows, but they replaced all individual buildings with one model of the entire city, which individually adjusts mesh and triangle counts on a local basis and based on distance because Game Freak doesn't know what the hell they're doing. All the additional things in the city such as trees, cars and NPCs are individual models, but they still suffer from pop-ins. Don't get me wrong, I'm playing on the OG Switch because I'm trying to be a responsible adult and save for a house, and spaffing £500 on a new console with no games I really want to play on, it isn't a wise choice right now. The frame rate is fine, there's lots of pop-ins, but that's no different on the Switch 2, and the slight improvement on mid graphics wasn't enough to make me want the Switch 2 version. But come on, Nintendo. I know they know about draw distance and video games. It's been around since Spyro the Dragon. Why make Lumiose one model and worry about frame rate drops and pop-ins when there's technology out there that means you don't have to? I have never been so annoyed about Windows since Windows forced me to update my PCs to Windows 11, which wasn't that long ago, but I'm still annoyed about that. Anyway, the Pokemon models look nice for once. They're still not as good as they should be, but they have at least got character and a bit of flair compared to the dead models we've had in previous entries. I get extremely happy watching Murray bounce about or listening to Venope's tiny legs click-clack desperately after me trying to catch up. It's a huge improvement on BDSP's take on following companions, where poor Ekans was reduced to a Roomba. Although that was made by Ilka, not Game Freak, and they clearly didn't want to share their heavily overused assets with those guys. The Pokédex entry pictures are better than the usual stock images they use with dynamic poses for a change. So you start the game up and there's a couple of cutscenes, but there's no voice acting. In 2025, we still don't have voice acting in a Pokemon game. Games in the 90s have this. Of course, the serious moments are more jarring than they should be, the tension is lacking, and any emotion the characters try to portray is kind of overshadowed by the awkward silences. Why do they do this? Scarlet and Violet was one of the best storylines since Black and White, with an emotive and deep narrative ruined by no voice acting and a buggy game. At least ZA isn't buggy, but still, the lack of voice acting is disappointing. So, you get through the cutscenes, create your character, and meet Urbane, or Tawny, where the never-ending slew of tutorials begins. Video Game Donkey covers it pretty well.
Can I go explore behind the hotel? Let's head into the hotel for now. Do I get to make any choices at all about what I want to do? Can I go up the ladder? Let's not go up the ladder ever. I gotta admit, these windows are not windows.
No explanation for you until you've completed hours worth of tutorials. Now, I am more than aware that this game is aimed at children as well as adults, so I don't mind a bit of standard tutorial shenanigans, but ZA takes it too far. It's so restrictive in the first 2 hours of gameplay that even when you think you're free to roam the streets, you're interrupted by Urbane telling you where to go and blocked by invisible walls. To go from games like Scarlet and Violet and Arceus to this is an insult. Legends Arceus is open and promotes exploration, as is Scarlet and Violet, allowing you to fight gym leaders in any order you like. ZA has long intrusive tutorials with limited exploration and is very restrictive for your first hour of play. Comparing this game to Arceus, which wasn't the prettiest nor the most interesting to look at, made up for the lack of looks with rewarding exploration, and a different take on the stale Pokemon formula we all got used to. The graphics weren't great, the use of cell shading and the art style made up for that. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I think Legends ZA should have stuck with that art style from Arceus. Cell shading helped enhance limited graphics in places, and this current art style enhances flaws. So one thing that becomes very apparent very quickly is the focus of battling over Pokemon catching. This is a personal preference, but I enjoy collecting more than battling, and I feel that the balance has been skewed. The new battle system is refreshing, but they copied the fighting style of Power World, which is kind of ironic, considering they're suing them for copyright infringement. Nintendo can steal your homework, but you can't steal theirs. So you can choose to use whatever moves you like, which is good. There's a cooldown period for each move used, and some will cool down quicker than others depending on the move type and the speed of your Pokemon. You can also switch in and out older and newer moves from the move pool. So if you replace a water gun with a quick attack, you can change it back with no consequences. It's small wins like this that makes being a fan of this franchise so frustrating. Every step they take forwards, they take several more steps back by letting themselves down. They finally spent time with creating the animations of each attack and making them look unique and actually cool to use. The last time using Pokemon moves felt this good was when Pokemon Stadium came out. When was that released again? 1999? Cool. Battling is mostly reserved for the nighttime battle zone. Some side quests have battling, but you won't be getting challenged by randos on the street during the day. This is one of my biggest gripes with the battle zone. Does it need a cutscene that interrupts everything every single night and day cycle? I get the first time having one to let you know it's a new thing, but after that it's just annoying. I have been mid-battle trying to catch an alpha Pokemon, only for it to get interrupted halfway through said battle with the cutscene, and once the cutscene is over, the Pokemon either disappears completely or it regains its hit points. I haven't come across a shiny Pokemon yet, but I'd be gutted if I did, only for it to disappear because of a pointless cutscene I can't turn off or skip. The missions feel more like something you get in a low-budget mobile game and require room temperature IQ to complete. Go to place, fight thing. I want to see this Pokemon. Shows Pokemon. Mission complete. Okay. If it was a game made for the PS2 era, I'd be more forgiving. But even then, there's games from that era with more substance than ZA. It's 2025, not 2005. The new starter megas seem lazy in comparison to Arceus. The type changes, but the designs are meh. Dinosaur with flower represent to you dinosaur with more flowers. Wow! The regional forms of the starters from Arceus were certainly more creative. The tiny map and the wild areas make me sad for what this game could have been. We could have had catacombs. Since it's set in France, that would have been a cool addition. You can't even barge into other people's homes anymore. But what Lumiose City lacks forward areas to explore, it makes up for with its abundance of anti-homeless benches. Good job! Do you like the Lumiose City theme? Well, I hope you do, because you're going to get to listen to it all the time in various styles. The music's great, to be fair, but it gets a little repetitive, and that's the fault of the setting and direction rather than the composers themselves. Insane in the Rain was involved as an arranger, which is cool, and if you don't know who they are, they do a lot of video game music covers including Pokémon. I will drop their channel in the description, so check it out. So that's my first thoughts on Pokémon ZA. I've put about 14 hours into the game so far, and I'm struggling to see how this pattern of mediocre games can carry on. Pokemon is gambling for kids and adults. You get that big old boost of serotonin when you catch a Pokemon you wanted, and that's the hook that Nintendo rely on for people to keep buying the games. And it works, so why would they make an effort when they can keep doing the bare minimum? The franchise makes so much money that Nintendo doesn't care because people will keep buying them, and I'm part of the problem. I'm fully aware. At the end of the day, this is the biggest franchise in the world. With the total revenue of over $113 billion US, I'd like to hope that they take as much care and time into making the Pokemon games, they keep them on the top of the pile as Nintendo spends on the Legend of Zelda franchise, for example. But they don't need to. As long as they keep spitting them out, people like me will keep buying them, hoping that this time things things will be different. Pokémon is the abusing boyfriend of the video game world, and I keep getting slapped. It's a shame I can't throw myself off the roof and end it all. Rotom won't let me. Anyway, if you like this video and you'd want to see more, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a bunch. If you want to help a little more, I now have a Ko-fi. Donators get a shout out on each of my videos, and if you just want to see what I've got planned next, drop me a follow on my socials. Links are in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Deliver us.